Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on 2 pair of earrings using our SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit, Deco the Halls. Now one of them, other than the findings, is entirely from Deco the Halls. The other one is only about halfway, but I'll show you what I mean when we go down. Let's turn down. Okay, this is the one that is almost entirely from Deco the Halls, and this is a simple one strand dangle. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with our fan, and then we're going to put this little, I call these disco balls because they're all sparkly, and then a washer spacer. This druzy, which I really wish was on its side, but it's not, so we'll live with it as it is. And lastly, this little cage, but the cage has a ball spacer inside it to add a little more color. It's a gold ball spacer, and it sits right there, like so. Now, you know, this is a little high, so I may take out that washer spacer. I really don't think we need it. Let's put the other one together without it, see what it looks like. So we have our fan, our little disco ball. For right now, we're going to leave the washer spacer off, our druzy, and then our trap with our little ball in it. So there are the 2 instances there. They're both pretty. I have some ear wires here to put on them. I think I have enough room to wrap with having this spacer in here. So I think I'm going to put the spacer in this side. I think it's pretty cool. So put the spacer in, then the druzy, and then of course our trap with our ball spacer. So there we go. So that just adds that little bit of gold up there into our trap. So now we just have to bend these over and put them on our ear wires. Because this is going on an ear wire, we're going in, its hole goes this way, we need our bend. Well, every one of these beads will move, so it doesn't really matter. It will get on there. So we'll put our bend in, do the same with our other. And then we're going to get our bell making pliers. Go up and over and around. Bring her down and over. Feed our ear wire in. Guess I didn't give it any space there. There we go. Now we just take hold where they come together and take a second pair of pliers and wrap that up. Now I probably should have made a smaller bend because I didn't leave a lot of wire for wrapping, but I think I definitely should have. There's definitely not enough wire for wrapping. So what we're going to do is this one may have a smaller spot there. So let's try it. It just went crooked on me, but that's all right. We can fix that. We know how. This one I obviously did not bend quite so high up, which is good. Go. Come here, you. Now, as you can see, I have this pretty well bent, so we're going to straighten it up. And I need to tighten this a bit because the tuck is not quite in place. So let's see if we can get that to do that. It's the wonderful thing about these little black pliers, they will get into places that are pretty tight. I think we're good. So now let's see if we need to do any more straightening. And yes, we do. She's tucked to the back, so we need to bring her forward some. And there's that little beauty done. Now I'm going to cut this one apart and redo it because its wrap is not good up there at all. So we will get a new wire and we will redo this one. Now I just threw away that wire that I cut off. I didn't really need to because if I wanted to make a shorter earring, it would be great to have that. That's a pretty one, isn't it? So let's get the other ear wire out and we will do this. So this time I have to remember not to bend it like at the place I normally would, but at a lower down place so that we have a little more wire to work with at the top and we don't have as big of a gap to fill. Okay, since this one has that little bead, we need to do it down on here so that we can get to the bead easily. Here we go. So now since these will all flip, it doesn't matter which way you actually put your bend in here. Bend it back a little too far, so let's bring it back forward again. Now I could have found one of my teeny gemstones and put in that hollow spot too, but I wanted something that was either gold or black or gray or something like that, and I didn't think that any of those sizes. I have some moonstone that I was thinking of, but it just was a little too big. There is earring number 2. So this is our first set of earrings. That's so pretty and sparkly. Now this one is going to be much different, and actually I should have done something prior to working on that one, and that is what we're going to do with these is we're going to take this flower and we're going to glue it inside. Now this flower is from my stash. Well, technically so is this one, but it comes, I ordered these from SoftFlex. Aren't they pretty? I think it's the blue with purple. So it's going to hang down here, and then we're going to put a pearl up here with a post. So that's what they're going to look like. So the first thing we need to do is we need to glue the little flower inside here, and then we'll probably, well, we don't have to set it aside because we can go on to other steps. But I'm going to get my mat out, my silicone mat. We'll move these things up here so they're not in the way. We don't want to glue them. And we'll get a little E6000 out, and we'll put it in the hollow here and glue in our flower. All right, where's my E6000? It's supposed to be right here. There it is. I can feel its lid. Now I'm going to need a new tube soon. This one doesn't want to open, so we will say, oh yes you do. So all we need is a drop right in here. There we go. And one in this one as well. Now we're just going to drop our flower down in the middle there. And it doesn't matter how it drops because they're pretty much the way they are. So it's going to sit here for a little while it dries somewhat. And since I'm going to put these to the side, since we don't need, we're going to do a few other steps while we're waiting for those to dry. Well, a little bit. It won't dry entirely, but it'll be a little bit. So the next things we're going to do is we're going to wind these up. Now, the purple flowers are just going to be all by themselves, all wound up here. And they are going to, I'm going to use the bigger loop because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 jump rings, one, and put them through that and then hang them to the flower. Because the flower, let's see if if we can get one of them here without moving it too much while it dries. The flower has 2 loops holes instead of just the regular one. So I'm going to put a jump ring in each one coming down to our flower's loop. We're going to do the same with the pearl up here. And the pearl is going to hang to the post. So we're going to do these right off the bat here. So we're just going to like so. Now I've already did one post with the or one wrap with the bigger loop here to see how I could get them to go through 2 sides. I could not. So we're going to just wrap this up, put on the pearl, and then wrap it onto the post. So we're going to have everything ready to put together as soon as that dries enough that I feel it's worth it. It can be hooked things to it. Okay, that's a little crooked, so we'll straighten it up some. The pearl will go on. Boy, you have a teeny tiny hole. You should go on quite. There we go. So now this is one of those wires that I'm going to cut the top off here. And then we're going to make this second of these. And like I say, we're using the second size up as opposed to just the regular little one, because we want to have a little bit more room for those jump rings that we're going to use. I absolutely love these pliers. They can get into the tiniest spots. Now, if you're wondering, I've got this wire slipped some, so I'm trying to bring it up. I did that by putting my pliers into the loop and bringing it and pushing it up with the wire up with the other side. Okay. So there we go. And now we want this to go on the post like so. And it's going to hold on to the flowers here. So now these also need to have theirs wound up. So we're again going to use the second size. So we will wind these up, and then we'll put the pearls onto the posts. Now, if you wanted to use simple loops here, you could. I'm just a big proponent of a wrapped loop. I really love a wrapped loop, so that's why I always use one. Well, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time I do. There's our bottom piece. Now we need to wrap up these and put them on the posts. So because we're wanting our loops to go this way for our flower, we need to bring these this way so they'll sit in their wire, in their hoop properly, or on the post properly. So now this one can use this small one. Spin around and over, bring her down, leave a gap, straighten her up some. Now we feed this on backwards, though right now it really doesn't matter which is front and back because we don't have any thing that specifies that at the present moment. So around it goes. Take this nut off since I really don't care for them. And wind this pearl up onto its post. See if we got her straight. Pretty much so. Now we'll do the same with this one. Put it on its post. I almost wrapped that without putting the post in, and I noticed I don't have it open at all, so we open it some, feed our post on, oh, this post wants to be difficult to not go on. I probably don't have it open enough. It should be open enough. It looks pretty good. Come on, you. Slide right around the corner. There we go. Now push those wires together and wrap it up. Okay, and this is way crooked, so we have to straighten it up. And I think it may be facing the wrong way. Yes, it is, so we will give it a twist. So it's facing the proper way. Okay, now here are our components done. Now we will need to put the flowers to it. But we'll need to get some jump rings. I'm not sure what size will work best. We will find out here in just a minute. And put this together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the holes, 2 of them, and hook it together like so. Now, I think this is probably dry enough to start, so we will grab one of these. This one's already open, so we'll go through the flower piece and come down and grab our other flower piece. So now we'll grab one more and we'll go through the other side of this bottom piece. Then we're going to go through our flower again. Come on, you, get up here. Trying to make sure that we don't cross anything. Now we'll tighten this up. And let's see how she's hanging. Okay, one of these is not proper. Not sure which one it is, because this one wants to go up there. We don't want it up there. Darn it. Okay, now it's hanging right. Now we're going to do the same thing with the pearl up at the top. So we take 2. We'll go through one of these loops and through the pearl's hook. Now you do have to pay attention to whether you have front or back, because you want to make sure your pearl is facing front to your flower here. Okay, there's the first one on. And then we'll put the second one on. There we go. Our first earring is finished. Isn't that pretty? This one may stay with me. I like it. So now we have to do the same over here on the other side with our 4 jump rings here. So let's grab our other flower piece. Make sure that we're on one of the places where there are holes all the way through. This one has got a blocked hole right here. Okay, that part's done. Now we need to put these 2 up. Now again, remember, this time you have to pay attention to front and back. So this is front, we have to go on like this. We go, earring number 2. So the only thing left now to do is to get these some of the earring backs that I prefer, and then we have our 2 sets of earrings done. There we go. There's our purple flowers and our druzy fans. Now the purple flowers do need to dry some before they get worn because they do have E6000 on there, which takes 24 hours to dry. So we do want to let those dry for a while. But I really like them. I think they turned out really pretty. Now, like I said, this flower and the pearl are part of the Deco the Halls. This flower I purchased separately from SoftFlex, and this is one that was in my stash. So as are the ear posts. Now this one, other than my beading wire and my, my head pin and my lever back ear wires, the only thing that is mine that wasn't from the kit is the little tiny gold ball spacer inside of there. So aren't those pretty? I hope you enjoyed making these with me. Hope you enjoyed making these 2 pair of earrings with me from Deco the Halls by SoftFlex Company. There's the first pair. Not as long as I normally wear, but very flashy. I think they're turned out very pretty. And then our second pair, which is our flowers, which still need to dry for a while. I like those a lot. I think these are like I said, probably going to stay with me. I like how they turned out. I think one of my posts may still be a little, no, it's just that the flower is not straight there. There we go. That's better. So there's the one pair, and here is the second. Stop wiggling around. Again, those were made using beads from our Deco the Halls SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit, and a separate purchase from SoftFlex for the pretty blue purpley flowers at the bottom of the other pair. So this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I hope you enjoyed making these with me. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.